Another video for the course Spartan Society to the Battle of Leuctra, and we're again looking at Spartan cultural life, and this video is about Greek writers' views on Sparta, focusing on Plutarch. So we can see here that he is the last writer that we talk about. That means that he is chronologically the last writer, the latest writer to write about Sparta, and he's also one of the most prolific. He writes more than any of the others on Sparta itself. So if we have a look here, we can see the three works that he wrote specifically about Sparta, or generally about Sparta. The first is on Sparta, so he's discussing the Spartan way of life in a whole work. He also has a book on the sayings of Spartan women, and he also writes about the life of Lycurgus, and I'll discuss that a little bit more after. The most important thing to know for Plutarch is that he's writing for a Roman audience, which is very different to many of the others, and he's also writing very late. So he's writing in the 1st and 2nd century AD, which is a good 400 years after the decline of Sparta. So it's important to really take that into consideration when we're thinking about Sparta. This is in a time period where the ancient world had already become a topic of fascination for people. So learning about the Spartans from 400 or 500 years before was intriguing, particularly to the Romans. So he's writing for a Roman audience that were fascinated by Spartan culture and wanted to learn more about it, and that's what he was writing about. So he gives us lots of information about Lycurgus, lots of information about women and daily life, customs, etc. So he's a wealth of information, but we need to take a lot of what he says with a grain of salt. There are some issues with some of his sources. Some of them are quite good, others of them are considered less reliable. So when we're looking at Plutarch, we need to take that into consideration. The fact that he's writing so late is another issue as well. So when we're thinking about Plutarch, often we need to think about Plutarch. He's used often as a source for historians about Sparta, but we need to be mindful that he might be more useful as a source for how the Romans thought about ancient Sparta in that 2nd century AD than he is for what Sparta might have actually been like. So we need to consider that. So for example, Life of Lycurgus, he's writing about Lycurgus, but he's attempting to compare this great Greek man Lycurgus with another famous Roman. So that was his intention, which is always going to colour his perception of those, well, both of those figures really, but it's going to change how he's portraying those people. So that's just one example of how his work's going to be influenced by his purpose. And his purpose is to fascinate a Roman audience about what ancient Sparta was like. So we need to tread carefully sometimes with Plutarch.